8.7 Measures of time. Three things you need to know. One, we're talking about seconds. And how many seconds are in 1 minute? Well, there are 60 seconds in 1 minute and 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay? A second, if you're trying to figure out on a time, if you said 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, that's 3 seconds. Saying the number and then Mississippi after it is 1 whole second. It says how many seconds are again in 1 hour. If you were trying to determine that, since there are 60 seconds in 1 minute and 60 minutes in 1 hour, you'd multiply those two together to get a total of 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. That's a lot. That's a whole bunch of seconds. A lot more than you probably thought from the get-go. 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. Now the steps to adding or subtracting time is simply work backwards. So you're going to add or subtract the seconds, then you're going to add or subtract the minutes, then add or subtract the hours, and rename if necessary after each step. Now I'm going to show you what renaming is, and again, renaming always refers to subtraction when you're renaming for the most part. Now in this case, renaming is going to be more like simplifying with our addition. So I'll show you what that is on the next few problems. If you don't have this written down, please hit pause and do so. Alright, let's look at this first problem. And we have 5 hours and 55 minutes plus 6 hours and 17 minutes. Always make sure you line up your minutes and line up your hours and line up the numbers just as though it were 55 plus 17. So we do that, and we're going to get 12 and then 72 minutes, and then we get 5 plus 6, that is 11 hours. Okay, now we have to simplify this because anytime we have more than 60 minutes, that equals 1 hour. Okay, so we need to take a group of 60 out of this, which is going to give me 12 minutes. That equals 1 hour. Okay, so we've got one group of 60, so we're going to add that onto our 11 hours. So now it is 12 hours and 12 minutes. Okay, that's simplifying. How many groups of 60 are in 72 minutes? You can divide that by 60. Okay, not the smartest thing to do in this case. It's just finding out how many groups of 60 will go into that. Now if I were to subtract and end up finding that I have more than 60 again, then subtract another 60 from it if you have to be able to carry it over and add it onto our hours. Okay? Questions on that? Again, please take note of that. On the next one, we are now subtracting. I'm going to let you go ahead and do this. All of our hours, minutes, and seconds are all pretty well lined up. So go ahead and subtract them. Alright, now that we are subtracting, this is where things get a little more difficult because we have to rename. We have to, since we have 11 hours, 25 minutes, and 20 seconds, 11 hours is much greater than 4 hours. So that has to be the number on top. Okay? But the issue is that when we do this, is that we cannot take 35 from 20. So we're going to have to borrow 1 minute. Okay? 1 minute. And add on the seconds. Okay? Remember, there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So we're going to add 60 onto this. We're going to have to add 60 to it to give us a total of 80. Now we can subtract 35 from 80. Okay, so we do that and we get 5, borrow, and you get 7, subtract, and you get 45 seconds. Now we go over here to our minutes, and we can now subtract this. And when we subtract this, whoops, that's going to be a, my bad. One more. We have our 24 minutes. Now we're going to subtract. So we're going to borrow, and this is going to be a 1. This will be 14, and you're going to end up getting 9 and 1. So a total of 19 minutes. And this one we're okay on. Okay, we didn't have to borrow from here either. That was borrowing is all taking place from starting with our seconds, and now we end up subtracting this, and you get a total of 7 hours. So it's going to be 7 hours, 19 minutes, 45 seconds. Now always double check, make sure you don't have anything that's greater than the 60 minutes or 60 seconds to reduce that. Subtraction, you shouldn't have that issue. If you did, then something else happened up above that shouldn't have. Okay. Let's try another one. Go ahead and solve this. So hit pause. Alright, so we're adding again, so it doesn't matter which one's on top and which one's on the bottom. We're just simply going to add these together. So, whoops, I keep putting wrong marks on here for some reason. It keeps showing up. 14, and we carry the 1, and we get 8, so 84 seconds. Then we go over here, there are no minutes, so we get 59 minutes. And our hours, we add that, and we get 11 hours. Okay. Now, we have to simplify. Now, we see that we have one that's greater than 60, so we're going to see that there is a group of 60 that goes into this. So when we do that, we end up getting 24 seconds, and we're going to carry one over to this, and we see that when we add that together, we get 60 minutes and 11 hours. Now, this right here, okay, is a minute, or excuse me, that 60 minutes is equal to 1 hour. So we can subtract 60 from that. Obviously, we get nothing left over, and add the 1 onto this. So we're going to end up with 12 hours, no minutes, and 24 seconds. Okay? And again, because what happened was a domino effect, since we had to take a group of 60 out of this and added that 1 minute onto it, that then made this equal to 60, which equaled a group of 60 minutes to equal 1 hour, so that's why we had to do that. Okay. That was a tough one. That was a little different from the other ones. Go ahead and hit pause, and I'll let you determine this one. Alright, it says Mark left his house at 8:25 a.m. for an appointment and returned at 10:50 a.m. How long was he gone? We need to find the difference. How long was he gone? So you're going to have to take the larger amount, okay, and we're talking about hours and minutes in this case. So it's going to be 10 hours and 50 minutes. And then we have 8 hours and 25 minutes. And you're simply going to subtract those, and we get 25 minutes. And subtract this, and you get 2 hours. So it's simply 2 hours, 25 minutes is the difference. And if we were to add that on to this, there's the 2. Add that on and you get 10. And add 25 onto 25 and you get 50. Okay. That is what you're doing today. The biggest issue is to make certain that you are, once you add them together, that you find as many groups of 60 as you can and let that number then carry over to the next unit of measurement. If you are subtracting, you will have to, in some cases, rename and borrow from the next unit, which is if it's needing to borrow seconds from minutes, then again there's 60 seconds in a minute. Or if you're borrowing hours or minutes from hours, that would be 60 minutes for 1 hour. Okay, so you have to be real careful with that as you do so. We'll work on this again tomorrow, and if you do have questions, please take note of them and we'll answer them in class. Have a great night.